Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's digression is an extremely sensitive yet important one. The topic I'm digressing about is bullying in the workplace. Now, this is a topic I'm intimately familiar with, as are many of you given the comments and emails I recently received, but this is also a topic that has recently received a lot of media attention. Really quickly, for those of you that do not know, an employee by the name of Anna Sebastian, who worked for one of the large global accounting firms in India, recently lost her life because she was overburdened with responsibilities and intimidated into working late nights and weekends. In fact, her situation was so bad that her mother detailed in a letter, which is an extremely heartbreaking read, by the way, where she said that her daughter Anna barely had any time for herself, barely had any time for her well being, barely had any time to feed herself. Any time to feed herself, like barely had any time to feed herself. In fact, it goes on to say that there were days where Anna was working 14 to 15 hours. Now, I don't want to dive too much into Anna's situation because the facts are still developing and the investigation is still ongoing. But what I will say is that no sane person wakes up and goes like, I'm going to start working 14 to 15 hour days for my employer because I want to prove to them that I am the best employee in the world. That does not happen. This is a case of intimidation and bullying, and this is strictly my opinion. But let's go past the situation. Like I said, the facts are still developing. But what I want to talk about is bullying in the workplace in general. Now, before I dive deeper into this, this might turn into a bit of a rant, because the plan for this video was to actually have a guest with me who was going to talk about their situation and talk about the bullying that they'd experienced. And they pulled out last minute because they had a panic attack, and it was a really, really bad panic attack. And the reason why they had a panic attack was because they are afraid that if they speak out about their situation, then they might become unhireable. They might burn all their bridges, and someone's going to watch this, someone they know might watch this, a recruiter might watch this, and no one's going to hire them. Then who's going to pay their mortgage? Who's going to pay their car payments? Who's going to pay their bills? And I get it. And I didn't want to pressure them, obviously, like I'd never do that. So I said, you know what, don't even worry about it. Sit this one out. I got this, right? I promised people video this week, this Friday, so I'm going to talk something about this. And I gave it a thought all day. And, I was thinking about this topic, like, why does bullying in the workplace happen in the first place? Like, we can talk about and say, like, there are bad managers, there are bad employers, or there are bad policies in place, or people don't want to respect labor regulations, labor laws, or because it's just a fine or just a slap on the wrist. No. You're not going to like this answer. Bullying in the workplace happens because we are complicit, because we let it, because the systems that we have designed, the systems that are in place are designed to make us complicit. Think about it. If you are bullied, who's the first person you're going to go to? If you're bullied in the workplace, who's the first person you're going to go to? You're going to go to HR. If it's your supervisor or manager, obviously you're going to go to your HR if your company has an HR. And what do you think HR is going to do? They're going to say like, well, yes, we'll investigate it, and they'll drag it on. They'll, push it as much as they can. But 9 times out of 10, unless the case was extremely, extremely severe, where they're like, hey, if this gets out, we're done. They basically tell you, well, look, we'll have some sort of policy in place, like a 30-day cool-off period, or we're going to have a third-party mediator come in, and they're going to discuss things between you and your bully, or we're going to reprimand the bully in a certain way, we're going to discipline them, but life goes on. Very rarely does the bully ever leave the organization. They're still there. Very rarely does it happen. And there are some forms of bullying that, are even difficult to document. Like in Anna's case, how are they going to prove that she was intimidated? Where is the emails? Where are the, documents that said that she was forced to work 14 to 15-hour days? All they're going to say is like, well, we're a, global firm with high turnover rates. We have a lot of objectives that we need to achieve. And so there's a lot of work that is involved. She was not up to par, which is what I'm guessing they're going to say in the end. Or they're going to say something like, well, our policies will change to reflect the needs of our employees because they come first. They never come first. Only the employer comes first. But bullying in the workplace is because we are complicit, because we let it happen. Think about it for a second. If I ask people that are watching this video right now, if any of you have been bullied, and I know there's many of you that have been bullied because I have everything, all the emails and all the comments from people, everything from compartmentalization of information, overburdening with work, threatening with firing or no promotion, attempting to control life outside of work. This was a very difficult read, by the way, but someone sent me an email about this. Denying vacation time while my boss takes a vacation, favoritism and bias, HR gaslighting, all of these things. Like people have experienced, but no one wants to talk about this in person because they think that they will become unhireable. They think that they will burn the bridges. They think that companies will see them as problematic individuals. And can I blame you for that? You all have bills to pay. You all have kids. I mean, sure, most of you have kids. Most of you have financial obligations. What are you going to do? It's not easy to go out and say like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to start a business. Businesses take time to start. Very rarely does it happen that someone has an idea that just takes off within a couple of weeks, couple of months. But sometimes businesses take months, years to start. Years to see traction. And how much money do you have in your savings? And given how the economy is like, I doubt many of us have a lot of savings left anyways. But bullying happens in the workplace because we are complicit, because the systems are complicit and there is nothing we can do about it. I'll give you one more example, and this is a real life example because this is my example. I've been bullied, as I've said, I'm intimately familiar with, and I've experienced various forms of bullying in the workplace. And I went to HR. Obviously, I was gaslit into oblivion. They had third parties involved, whatnot. In the end, I realized that this isn't going anywhere. The whole thing was structured. The way the language was used, the way the words were used, the whole thing was structured to make me look crazy. And I had all the evidence and I kept showing the evidence, but it meant nothing. So you know what I did in the end? I went to a lawyer because I'm not one of those kinds of people who sits quietly and goes like, you know what, I'll take it. I've never taken it. I've always fought back. And I went to a lawyer. The lawyer said two things to me, just two things to me. He said I had a pretty good case, but he said two things to me. How much money do you have? And I asked him, what does that have to do with any of this? He's like, well, how long do you plan on fighting this? Because they can drag it on. You can't. So that immediately was like, well, yeah, shit, I might get bankrupt if I kept doing this. And the second thing that he sent to me is that you're not the first person I'm going to see. You're probably not going to be the last person I'll see. There'll be thousands that will walk through this door. And I'll tell you right now, life is too short to work for a bad boss. Just go find a new job. Sometimes it's just not worth it to fight. And I said to him like, but then, these kinds of behavior will keep going on and I can't keep job hopping the next time I get bullied. And all he had to say is like, well, then your only option is to fight for it. And I don't know whether you'll win or not. I don't know how long it will go on. I don't know how long the justice system will take, but it's going to cost you every single day. Like none of this happens for free. People don't work for free. The system has made us complicit. And there's stories like this I've received from people who had similar experiences with lawyers who said like, you have a solid case and I want to fight for you, but I'm telling you right now, they're a large corporation and they will drag it on as much as they can. They'll try to paint you like crazy. They'll try every dirty trick in the book to make you look crazy because it's them or you. And they're not gonna, sacrifice themselves for you. You mean nothing. You're replaceable. System is complicit. I know this turned into a bit of a rant, and I was hoping for a more structured conversation today. And I don't blame the person, like I said. I really hoped for a more structured conversation. I wanted to get really deep into this issue. But really, the crux of the issue is, the full depth of this issue is, we have no choice but to stay quiet. Like genuinely, we have no choice but to stay quiet. I'm going to I am going to put this LinkedIn post up. I hope I still have it. These layoffs that have recently been happening, I've been tracking all of them because I have nothing better to do. And I've been reading what people have been saying. I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, since the layoffs have started. And you'll notice people say like, oh, my time at so-and-so company has come to an end after 15 or 10 years. And, I understand why the company had to make these decisions on to the next chapter of my life. Right? Now they entered a job market that is absolutely vicious. No one's getting hired. People are battling for one position. There are thousands of applicants for one position. And now that it's settled in that they're not getting hired, now LinkedIn posts are coming up where people who have been laid off or fired are saying things like, when I lost my job, I didn't want to burn any bridges. So I said, like, it was the best experience of my life working for this company. I learned so many things. I met so many great people. But now that I think about it, they discarded me after 10 or 15 years of working for them, building their brand, building their business, solving their problems, making them God knows how much money. Like, that's how quickly they discarded me. And there are people that have commented on this post. I'll see if I can link this post to you, but I don't want to draw some unnecessary attention to some poor person out there who's struggling to find a job. So I'll still post the LinkedIn, I'll post the image, but that's what's happening out there. And I keep telling people that we need to speak up and speak loudly. And if you are a person, I don't want to drag this on too much, but if you are someone that has been bullied at work, that has been intimidated, threatened, denied your promotion, denied your bonus because you have a bad boss, a bad manager, or your employer is just a lunatic, then start speaking up, because that's the only way you're going to change a system that is broken. That is the only way you're going to change a system that is complicit. That is the only way you're going to change a system that is designed to take advantage of you. Think about it for a second. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to say, I got this, man, I'll take care of you. It's not happening. No one is coming to save you. You have to start speaking up. You have to start inspiring other people to speak up. Me doing this video, I practically made myself unhireable, and I'm going to hit publish on this video no matter what happens, because I'm tired of hearing these stories. I'm tired of reading about people losing their lives, losing their livelihood because of a bad manager or a bad boss. It's time to speak up, so I'm speaking up. And if you're watching this, if you're in a position where you've been bullied, like I said, if you've experienced any of it, speak up and speak loudly. Before I close, I just want to say that the channel has finally hit 320 subscribers. I never even imagined that we'd get to 100, let alone 200, and somehow we're at 320 subscribers, which might not sound like a lot given the grand scheme of things, but for someone like me, it's a massive achievement. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for liking my videos. And genuinely, a big, big thank you to all the people that have been emailing me. I have hundreds. I will respond to every single one of you. And thank you to all the people that have been commenting on my older videos, that have started to watch them now. I really, really appreciate the positivity of your comments, and I really, really appreciate all the experiences that you are sharing with me in those comments. They mean the world to me. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. I will see you next week, hopefully Friday again, in a different video. This one is scripted and structured. It's going to be a banger, this one. I put a lot of effort into it. I delayed it. It's delayed now 2 months, but I delayed it, but it's going to be a banger. So we'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for indulging my rant. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.